this nice little barbecue-y recipe for these beautiful British Trout Association rainbow trout steaks. I'm going to do that with a little super simple barbecue marinade. So I'm going to use some smoked paprika, a little tiny bit of lemon juice, some cumin, some mustard seeds, a bit of mustard, and some olive oil. It's really, really easy. They're going to marinate for an hour or so, and then when I've made the garnishes, we'll take them outside and finish those over hot coals on the grill. They'll be really nice. You could cook them inside under a grill, no problem at all, or pan roast them, or even just chuck them in a super hot oven, that would be fine. But there's something about that sort of charcoal aroma and a lovely summery feeling of cooking outside. So for the marinade, for these 3 little steaks here, just going to get a teaspoonful of nice hot English mustard. Quite a spicy one, this one. If you're using a lighter one, you might use a little bit more. Some smoked paprika, I don't know, a couple of teaspoons, something like that. Nice, sweet, smoky paprika. A little bit of ground cumin, not too much, just a touch. A few mustard seeds to echo that little mustard flavour that's going in there and give us a little bit of crunch. A little squeeze of lemon juice. And some olive oil. And we don't want these little trout steaks drowning in marinade, okay? We don't want buckets of it left in the bottom of the thing when we finish. We're just gonna mix it together to a very loose sort of paste. Now, not putting any salt in there because I don't want it to start curing the fish, okay? We just wanna give it some flavor. So I'm just gonna put a bit of that on there and then give it a little rub on, and the same on the other side. And this is just going to enhance the smokiness of the charcoal on the barbecue and give us a little bit of seasoning. So this quick pickled cucumber is a brilliant garnish for all different sorts of trout. It's going to work really nicely with this little barbecue trout steak and a bit of wild garlic mayo. But honestly, it's worth having a little jar of this in the fridge for any sort of trout related item you're thinking of serving. So I'm going to use half a cucumber. I'm going to cut it in half lengthways, and then I'm going to scrape out the seeds. The seeds are just sort of water really, we don't need to worry about them too much. So just use a teaspoon and scrape out the majority of the seeds. And then I'm just going to chop that into sort of slightly angled half moons. Not too thin, not too thick. Something like that. I'm going to add some sugar. I'm using a soft light brown sugar here. A little bit of that. And some salt. Now don't panic, this sugar and salt is mostly going to come off once it's done its job. I'm just going to dress that over the cucumber. We're going to leave it for 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, the water will come out of the cucumber, which will drain off. We'll rinse this off, squeeze it out, and then dress it with a little bit of cider vinegar. So I've got some nice wild garlic. I've got some mayonnaise. I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper with the mayonnaise and the wild garlic. But I want the wild garlic to be nice and finely chopped for this, okay? It's raw, so it'll be quite punchy. If the wild garlic's out of season and you wanted to make a different mayo to go with this, a little chopped watercress mayonnaise, maybe with a little bit of finely grated garlic in there as well, that would work really nicely. So I'll cut it acrossways first into a little chiffonade, nice and finely done. Then I'll turn it round, chop it the other way so we've got a nice finely chopped, well, finely chopped for me anyway, wild garlic. Into the mayonnaise, I've got about 2 tablespoons of mayo there, bit of black pepper, stir it around, leave it for 10 minutes to get accustomed to itself, or make it the day before you want it, leave it in the fridge. Good to go. The fire's hot, the fish is marinated, and what could be nicer in a little bit of sunshine than to cook yourself a nice bit of trout that you carefully marinated in those little barbecue spices. So I've got these steaks and I'm just going to put them onto that roasting hot grill there. Ooh. And I'm going to let them sit still. I'm not going to faff around with them too much straight away. Just let them start to set. Give them a few minutes. When they start to look like they're cooked halfway through, turn them over, give them a couple minutes more, and then move them away from the heat a bit, let them have a little rest. Beauties. Oh, nice. I can just start to hear, having turned them over a couple of minutes ago, just start to hear moisture coming out of them. And that's a sure sign that they're ready to come off. They're nice and firmed up. We don't want them to dry out. So I'm just gonna pop my little board here in the smoke on the edge of the fire, and I'm gonna lift these off, and I'm gonna let them finish cooking just in their own heat. Let them just rest a little bit, as it were. A little bit of that wild garlic mayo, just, you know, on the top, around the edges. Nothing too fancy, nothing too fancy. And then some of that lovely, fresh pickled cucumber. It's just gonna lift the whole thing up. British Trout Association barbecued trout steak of joy.